Welcome to Module 31, Systems Thinking for Solo Operators. This is where your business stops living inside your memory, your inbox, your scattered notes, and whatever brave little checklist you swore you would keep updated last Tuesday. A one-person empire cannot depend on heroic effort forever. Heroic effort is cute for a launch weekend. It is not a business model. If every task requires your full attention, every result depends on your mood, and every problem gets solved from scratch, you do not have an execution problem. You have a systems problem. Systems thinking is the skill of seeing how work actually moves. You stop looking at isolated tasks and start looking at the chain that creates the outcome. What triggers the work? What steps happen? Where does it get stuck? What standard defines done? What can be templated, automated, delegated, or improved? This module teaches you how to think like an operator instead of a frantic task doer. Because the goal is not to do more. The goal is to build a machine that helps the right work happen with less chaos. Build the system, protect your energy, run the empire. This module is about learning how to think in repeatable processes instead of constant improvisation. We are going to look at what systems are, why solo operators need them, how to identify the work that should be systemized first, and how to turn recurring tasks into cleaner workflows. A system can be simple. It can be a checklist, a template, a calendar rhythm, a project board, a dashboard, an SOP, an automation, or an AI-assisted workflow. The point is not to create a corporate maze with 50 tabs and a spreadsheet that needs emotional support. The point is to reduce friction. When you build systems, you make your business easier to run, easier to improve, easier to delegate, and easier to scale. You also stop relying on memory as your main operating software, which is rude to your nervous system and wildly unreliable. By the end of this module, you will choose one recurring task and map it from beginning to end. Then you will identify one place to simplify, template, automate, or document. This is how a one-person business starts becoming an operating system. Systems thinking means seeing the pattern behind the task. Instead of asking, "What do I need to do today?" you also ask, "What process creates this result? Where does it break? And how can I make it repeatable?" That question changes everything. A task is one action. A system is the repeatable way an outcome gets produced. For example, writing one post is a task. Having a weekly content system that captures ideas, selects topics, drafts posts, edits, schedules, tracks performance, and repurposes the best ideas is a system. Sending one invoice is a task. Having a client billing system with a payment schedule, invoice template, reminder workflow, and tracking dashboard is a system. Following up once is a task. Having a lead follow-up system is revenue infrastructure. Systems thinking helps you stop treating every day like a brand new emergency. The work becomes visible, the gaps become obvious, the improvements become practical. You are not just doing work anymore. You are designing how work improves. The solo operator problem is simple. Everything depends on you. You are the strategist, marketer, salesperson, administrator, creator, client manager, finance department, project manager, and sometimes the person trying to remember where you saved the file called Final, Really Final version 3. That is a lot. Without systems, your business starts running on attention, adrenaline, and vibes. That may get you through a season, but it will not build a stable empire. Systems give your limited capacity structure. They help you decide what matters now, what happens next, what can wait, and what should not be repeated manually again. The goal is not to remove your brilliance from the business. The goal is to stop sending your brilliance on avoidable chaos. Your mind should be used for strategy, creativity, judgment, leadership, and decision-making, not remembering the 7 steps of a task you already have done 32 times. Solo operators do not need more pressure. They need cleaner systems. Let's separate task from systems. A task is a single action. Write the email, make the call, send the proposal, update the spreadsheet, publish the post. A system is the structure that makes that action easier, clearer, and repeatable. The task is send onboarding email. The system is signed agreement triggers payment link, payment confirmation triggers welcome email sends intake form creates project folder creates checklist guides kickoff preparation. That is the system. When you only think in tasks, your business feels like an endless to-do list. When you think in systems, your business starts creating patterns of execution. Tasks keep you busy. Systems create leverage. This matters because a one-person empire cannot scale by adding more random effort. It scales by turning reoccurring effort into repeatable assets. Every time you build a system, you are taking pressure off future you. And future you deserves better than a chaotic little scavenger hunt every Monday morning. Here's a simple way to know whether something needs a system. Ask, does this task happen more than once? Does it affect quality? Does it affect revenue? Does it affect client experience? Or does it drain more energy than it should? If the answer is yes, it deserves a system. You do not need to systemize everything immediately. Please do not spend 3 hours designing a system for watering your desk plant unless the plant has entered your revenue pipeline. Start with the tasks that repeat and matter. Lead follow-up matters. Client onboarding matters. Content production matters. Invoice tracking matters. Proposal creation matters. Weekly planning matters. Delivery quality control matters. If a task repeats, it can probably be mapped. If it can be mapped, it can probably be simplified. If it can be simplified, it can probably be templated, automated, delegated, or supported by AI. That is the repeatable outcome test. Repeatable work should become a repeatable system. Every simple system has 4 parts: input, process, output, and feedback. The input is what starts the system. A lead fills out a form. A client signs a contract. You record a long idea. A project request comes in. A payment is received. The process is what happens next. Those are the steps, tools, decisions, templates, and checkpoints that move the work forward. The output is the result: a proposal sent, a post published, a client onboarded, a report delivered, a dashboard updated. The feedback is how you learn whether the system worked. Did it save time? Did it reduce errors? Did it improve quality? Did it create the result? Most people only think about the middle, the doing. Operators think about the whole system: input, process, output, feedback. That map gives you control. It lets you see where the work begins, how it moves, what it produces, and how it improves. Chaos usually hides in the same places. It hides where there is no clear trigger. It hides where steps live only in your head. It hides where tools are scattered. It hides where done is undefined. It hides where decisions are made differently every time. It hides where clients have to guess what happens next. It hides where you have no feedback loop. And it absolutely hides in that one folder called Miscellaneous, which has become a digital cave system. When you feel friction in your business, do not blame discipline. Look for the missing system. Are you procrastinating? Or is that the next step unclear? Are you overwhelmed? Or is it the workflow is too scattered? Are you inconsistent? Or is there no repeatable rhythm? Systems thinking helps you diagnose the real problem, because sometimes you do not need to try harder. Sometimes you need to make the path easier to follow. Systems are not just about productivity, they are about energy protection. Every open loop costs attention. Every repeated decision costs mental bandwidth. Every unclear process creates tiny friction. Enough tiny friction becomes exhaustion. A clean system reduces the number of things you have to hold in your head. It creates containers. It says, this is where leads go, this is where content ideas go, this is how onboarding works, this is how projects are tracked, this is when money gets reviewed. This is how follow-up happens. That structure creates calm. And calm is not a luxury in a one-person business. Calm is operational power. When your systems are weak, you become the system. When your systems are strong, you become the operator of the system. That distinction matters. You are not building yourself a prettier cage. You are building a business that gives your intelligence room to breathe. Start with the areas that create the most pressure, revenue, or repetition. For most one-person businesses, the first systems are simple. A lead capture system, a follow-up system, a proposal system, a client onboarding system, a delivery system, a content creation system, a finance tracking system, a weekly planning system. Do not start with a complex dashboard that looks impressive but changes nothing. Start with the bottleneck that is currently stealing your time, costing you money, or making you look less professional than you actually are. Ask, where do things get dropped? Where do I repeat myself? Where do clients ask the same questions? Where do I delay because I am not sure what to do next? Where do I lose track? That is where your next system belongs. Systemize the pain point first. The business will tell you where the friction is. You can build useful systems this week without becoming a software architect in a dramatic hoodie. Create an inquiry form that collects the same information from every potential client. Create a proposal template so you stop rebuilding offers from a blank page. Create an onboarding checklist that tells you exactly what happens after someone pays. Create a content idea bank so good ideas stop evaporating like suspicious little ghosts. Create a weekly money review that tracks revenue, expenses, outstanding invoices, and cash flow. Create a project status board with stages like not started, in progress, waiting, review, and complete. These are not glamorous, but they are powerful. A basic system you use is better than an elegant system you ignore. Start lean, build the version that removes friction now. You can improve it later. The point is movement, not perfection. Let's say this clearly. Tools do not fix broken thinking. Notion will not save you. Airtable will not save you. ClickUp, Trello, Asana, Monday, Google Sheets, Zapier, Make, and your 18th productivity app will not save you if you do not understand the workflow. The tool is the container. The system is the logic. Before choosing a tool, define the process. What needs to happen? Who or what triggers it? What information is required? What steps are repeated? What decisions are made? What output is expected? What needs review? Once the workflow is clear, choosing the tool becomes much easier. Otherwise, you are just moving chaos into prettier software. And yes, it will have dark mode. It will still be chaos. Workflow first, tool second, always. Once you map a system, you can turn it into assets. An SOP documents the steps. A template speeds up repeated work. An automation moves information or triggers actions between tools. An AI assistant or agent can help draft, summarize, organize, analyze, or prepare pieces of the workflow. These assets become business leverage. For example, your client onboarding system might include an SOP for you, an intake form for the client, a welcome email template, an automated folder creation step, and an AI assistant that summarizes the intake responses into a kickoff brief. That is not just a task anymore, that is infrastructure. This is how the Academy's earlier AI lessons connect to real operations. AI is more useful when it sits inside a system. A vague AI request gives you random output. A clear workflow gives AI a job. Systems make your tools smarter. Let's walk through a content publishing system. The input is a core idea. Maybe it comes from a client question, a lesson, a voice note, a framework, or a story from your week. The process begins with capturing the idea in one place. Then you choose the strongest idea for the next week. Next, you draft the post. Edit it for clarity, create a visual or caption, schedule it, publish it, and track response. The output is a published piece of content. The feedback is performance data and an audience response. Did people engage? Did they ask questions? Did it produce leads? Did it clarify your positioning? Now look at the leverage. You can create a template for the post. You can use AI to draft variations. You can create a checklist for editing. You can repurpose the best idea into an email, video, carousel, or lead magnet. One idea becomes a system. One system becomes consistency. Consistency becomes trust. A system is not finished just because you built it. Systems should be measured, improved, and simplified. Ask, is this saving time? Is it reducing mistakes? Is it improving quality? Is it making the next step clearer? Is it helping the business produce better outcomes? If the answer is no, adjust it. Some systems need more structure. Some need fewer steps. Some need better templates. Some need clearer triggers. Some need automation. Some need to be deleted because they were created during a productivity spiral and never deserved to exist. Keep your systems alive. Review them regularly. A one-person empire needs structure, but it does not need bloat. The best systems are clean, useful, and easy to maintain. Do not worship complexity. Build what works, then make it lighter. Here is your action step. Choose one recurring task in your business or work life. Map it from beginning to end. Start with the trigger. What begins the task? Then list every step. Do not make it pretty yet. Just get it out of your head. Next, define the output. What should exist when the task is complete? Then identify the friction. Where does it slow down, get confusing, become repetitive, or depend too much on memory? Finally, choose one improvement. Simplify one step. Create one template. Write one checklist. Automate one handoff. Use AI to support one part. Do not try to redesign your entire operating system today. Choose one workflow and make it cleaner. That is how systems thinking becomes real. One task becomes a process. One process becomes an asset. One asset becomes leverage. Build the system, then let the system support the empire.